would like to keep this as part of the violin now, you know, because it's part of its history.
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're looking at 20 of our favourite projects and items to come into the repair shop.
It's about making it playable, so you can learn to play this guitar. It's set up for the next 40 years, but it doesn't destroy the character and the history attached to this guitar.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 20. Plate camera.
So this has actually seen the trenches?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
It's been in the trenches.
Wow.
So if that's been to northern France, it's in good condition.
Well, yeah.
This old-fashioned bellows camera had actually been taken to the trenches and used by the owner's great-grandfather during the First World War. When it entered the workshop, it had been completely disassembled and needed a lot of TLC, including getting a brand new set of bellows because the original set was full of holes.
That's the bellows. Got holes in them everywhere, and if you hold them up to the light, they probably leak light like a sieve, which is not very good for photography.
It's astonishing that this camera was used to capture images of the war in action, and there's no mystery about why it would be so meaningful to have it restored.
So the next thing to do now is to fire it and see if we're going to get an activation, and brilliantly we do.
It takes a lot of work, with the owner even saying he was surprised they managed to fix it, but they did, and even got to take a picture of the whole gang.
That is absolutely brilliant.
It's amazing.
That's what an old lens makes you look old-fashioned.
Number 19. Lulu.
I think it's a memory to her mum and her dad and the welcome they gave me.
There was a long history of friendship and found family behind this doll, Lulu, which was given to the owner, Deborah, by her best friend, Joy. The doll was in a sorry state, needing its joints to be repaired, a completely new coat of paint, and also a new replica dress to be handcrafted in the barn. It's reactions like this, when Deborah returned with Joy, that make the repair shop so worthwhile.
Now I have it in two pieces. I'm thrilled to say it's a movable head. I'm going to carry on by cleaning up all these edges, and then we can see exactly what needs to be repaired.
Small objects like this hold so many secrets, especially when the previous attempts to repair them are sorted out and they're restored to their former glory. Who knew that Lulu, when she appeared, was supposed to look like this?
Her outfit is just... she's gorgeous. Thank you so much. I am so...
She's perfect.
Oh my gosh. She's amazing.
Number 18. Dog of 4.
So these will be standing outside the front door and...
They would be inside.
Oh, inside.
Probably on the shelf, looking at the door.
This woman's family had 2 Chinese dogs of 4, handed down from her great-grandfather. But one of them was completely headless and in desperate need of some attention.
And I'm now going to offer up the dog, and hopefully it will go on okay.
A repair job had been attempted, but didn't come together. But luckily the pieces had all been kept, even though the damage had been done in the 1950s. Kirsten used a steam cleaner to melt the old glue and get it back into multiple pieces so that she could get it clean and put it back together properly.
Looking at the other dog of faux, they're actually quite flat. I'm just going to press them into place.
She then needs to remold the few pieces that weren't saved, though luckily she has its twin to copy and ensure it's absolutely perfect.
Wow, look at that. She's fantastic. Look at that. Gosh, you wouldn't have even known anything had happened.
Number 17. Victorian Norm.
He's had many repairs and bashes over the years. He's lost a lot of definition in his arms. His head's come off and he's lost all his detailed colouring.
This bloke rocked up with a bizarre little garden gnome, which he says is a family heirloom that his mother used to have. It's been broken to pieces and haphazardly put back together many times over the decades, and turned out to be a much bigger job than Kirsten originally anticipated.
Part of the pleasure of the job is actually returning the objects to the owners, and I just hope that he'll be happy with it.
She has to strip away the fiberglass and paint, and at one point enlist Will's help to amputate a wooden dowel in one of its wrists. Finally, she's got to give it a fresh coat of paint, sorting out his hat, beard, and completely repairing his hands. Will his wife let him keep this one in the house? Apparently, yes.
It's going in our living room.
Is it?
My wife says he can stay there now, so.
Oh, is it? You've got the
I've got the royal approval, yeah.
Number 16, music box.
So when was the last time you heard it playing then?
I think I must have been 6 or 7, so I don't know how long it hasn't worked.
This old music box was a gift from the owner's father to her mother, but it hasn't worked in decades. Steve's on hand, but nobody has any idea why it isn't working. So he needs to disassemble it completely to find out exactly where the problem is. It's a very fiddly job, but he determines that it's the old oil from the mechanism that's jammed it up.
The plan now is to do what I always do, take it to pieces, check every bearing for wear, every spring for cracks, correct any deficiencies, put it back together again.
Once he dissolves the old oil, it's well on its way to being completely fixed. When it's all cleaned, he works on replacing the dampers on the comb and gets it up and running. No wonder there were tears in the barn when the music box sang for the first time in half a century. Number 15, Victorian Landscape.
How did you damage the painting?
I was transferring from one property to another.
Arguably, Lucia has the trickiest job of any of the experts, tasked with rejuvenating paintings sometimes hundreds of years old. This landscape had been damaged decades ago during a house move, and the owner now wants it restored, which involves making a new back, cleaning it all, and of course, painting over the tear to try and match the artwork.
So I'm going to use a lining adhesive that comes as a film, and if you look closely you can see the adhesive is on the back of the canvas.
It's painstaking and requires her to cut patches from the unseen edges of the canvas that wrap around the frame and glue them on.
I think this area of retouching is actually going to be quite forgiving because there's a lot of colours in here and a lot of work happening in the brush strokes.
She then used a dental tool to apply white filling and then, finally, got to work actually painting the trees back in. You'd have no idea the painting was torn when she was done.
Do you like it?
Over the moon with that.
Number 14, ceramic sweet dish.
I didn't think it was repairable. I say we just kept the bits for sentimental reasons, really. It was the only thing of my mother's when she died.
Kirsten was drafted in yet again to repair this Victorian sweet dish made of porcelain, which had been broken by the owner's daughter, Karen, when she was a child. Because it had so much sentimental value, dating back to the 19th century, they kept the pieces for all this time, finally able to bring it into the barn to get it fixed.
I know that Richard mentioned that there were things like this cherub's wing missing, and that was actually missing beforehand, so I am going to have to make that up from scratch.
It's a team effort, with Steve's help needed to make a new metal rod to go inside, while Kirsten finishes sculpting the missing pieces in epoxy. For a moment, she didn't think it was possible to fix it either, but, of course, it was, bringing back memories of Richard's late mother.
Oh
my goodness!
Don't know what to say.
Number 13, penny farthing.
Why did you want the penny farthing?
I wanted to ride it.
Okay, right. Was it rideable when you first saw it then?
No.
Once left rotting at the bottom of somebody's garden, Peter now wants his penny farthing to be restored so that he can ride it at the upcoming village fete. Understandably, it's a big repair, with lots of new pieces needing to be made totally from scratch. Thank goodness they have an on-site blacksmith.
I can't even imagine what it must be like riding this. You must be up super high.
Yeah, when you're riding it, your head's 9 feet in the air.
Both of the wheels were wobbly, with the front wheels so degraded that if he didn't replace every single spoke, it would have collapsed when anybody tried to ride it. In the end, it does get into a rideable condition, and the entire repair shop cast watch as he cycles past on this Victorian relic. Number 12. Wedding rings. In this heartbreaking repair, Mike arrived in the barn with 2 broken rings, revealing the tragic reason they were both in pieces.
My wife had been badly injured in an incident in her car just to protect her hands and things, they had to cut these off with wire cutters.
After they were cut off by paramedics following a car accident, Mike's wife Sarah passed away in hospital. He now wants the rings to be restored so that he can give them to his daughter. It's up to goldsmith Richard to make that happen, heating them up, moulding them back into shape, and then polishing them.
Starting to certainly get some of the original shine back to it. This is polishing up really nicely.
It's not a difficult repair, but it's so meaningful to Richard to have the rings wearable again and able to be passed down through the family, honouring the memory of his late wife.
That reminds me of the day that they were made. They look amazing.
Thank you.
Number 11. Second World War violin.
Because she played the violin, and she played very well indeed, that was her lifeline. She was able to be part of the women's orchestra in Auschwitz, which lulled the new intakes coming in to a false sense of security.
In this extraordinary restoration, a woman brought in a 19th century violin that had been played by her Aunt Rosa during her time interred in Auschwitz. Rosa miraculously managed to survive the war, along with this violin, which was passed down through the family. It's now in no condition to be played, however, so she brought it to the barn to see if it could be fixed.
You can actually see fingerprints in it, and to think that was happening in the prison camp and all through the long history of the violin. But unfortunately, that's all got to be smoothed out to make it playable.
All she wanted was for it to be playable again, 120 years after it was built. Though it had to be taken apart for the restoration, it was delicately put back together and completely repaired, with some of the older repairs kept because of their historical value. Number 10. The Bletchley Bike. A man brings in this bike that belonged to his late mother, who happened to be a code breaker at Bletchley Park during the war.
And then she was called up to be one of the code breakers at Bletchley Park.
Oh, really?
Bletchley Park was the top secret home of the code breakers.
Because of this, they say the bike she rode on to and from her job decrypting Axis messages inadvertently saved millions of lives. For nearly 40 years, the bike has been unused, making its restoration quite a challenge.
This rear sprocket is so badly worn that it's worn away the teeth, and it gives this characteristic hooked effect. So basically that's got to be replaced. Obviously Hugh's mum pedalled backwards and forwards to Bletchley Park.
Some authentic parts unfortunately need to be replaced in the interest of safety, but Tim is able to preserve a lot of its original pieces.
I've just taken the mud guards off of Hugh's bike.
Okay.
And I've noticed that they've got a couple of little splits in.
Oh, God, okay.
That need a little bit of repair, and I'm hoping that you can help out.
Of course, they get it up and running in the end though. A real part of Britain's code-cracking history. Number 9. Bass guitar. This Fender jazz bass was bought by the bassist of the band Hot Chocolate, Tony Wilson, in 1966. It's brought onto the show by Tony's son Danny, looking to get it restored so that he can learn to play it and continue his dad's legacy.
And then why do you want to get it repaired or restored now? Are you going to start playing?
That's it, that's the plan.
Oh,
yeah, that is the plan.
Guitar expert David does most of the work, and it certainly needs a lot because it's been rendered virtually unplayable after gathering dust for so long.
And these are actually coming out a lot easier than I thought they might for a guitar that's 50 years old. So I'm confident that actually these frets will come out, relatively easily.
He separates all the parts, repaints the neck, replaces every fret, and even adds a bridge cover he has to artificially age so that it matches everything else.
What I have here is it's a specially selected stone, and I'm just going to put some marks and dents in this. This is very unscientific.
It still holds all of its history, but it's now able to be easily played. Number 8. Miniature tractor. It might be small, but it's not a toy, as they are quick to explain to viewers.
So this is the demonstrator?
Yeah.
This isn't a toy at all?
No, it's definitely not a toy.
This tiny model tractor was used by a salesman to sell real, full-size tractors to farmers around the world, and this particular one has remarkably travelled across Africa.
Beautifully made
model, this would have been used to demonstrate the differences between the older style of plough and the new type of mechanism.
The current owners, whose father it originally belonged to, have never actually seen it in working order, so there's a lot of repairing that needs to be done.
I'm going to use a rotary wire brush to take off the remains of the old paint and then the rust, so that we can then put a new fresh coat of paint on it.
Many of the parts were so rusty or broken that they needed completely new replacements to be handcrafted from metal. He also has to use pliers to straighten some broken parts, taking a big risk since this might break it.
So what I'm going to do now is just very gently straighten out these linkages. It's always a tense moment when you're bending something back of this age.
Number 7. Pinball Machine. This machine was acquired at some point in the 1930s, but the owner can't be sure of the exact date, just that her grandfather bought it roughly in that decade.
So if we're able to get this fully restored, where would it go?
At the top of my house, I've got a cross between my childhood and a museum for my grandchildren with dolls' houses and things. So it will go in there.
Pinball expert Jeff has never actually seen this particular machine before, making it a very interesting find. The owner wants it restored so that her grandchildren can play it, passing the fun down through the family.
This machine is actually not in bad condition, but I think the problem is that it's been put in the damp at some point.
It's actually in great shape though, and doesn't need too much work to get going again. The mechanisms still function after they're given some TLC, and Jeff installs safety glass on the front to ensure there won't be any more damage.
So rather than the standard glass that was in it, I'm going to put a laminate glass in, which even when it breaks, it all holds together so you don't get bits of glass, which will be safer for the kids as well.
Number 6. Family Portrait. There is a massive amount of history behind this family painting, which is a famous portrait of a woman called Mary Carmichael Smith. The men who bring it on are her great-great-great-grandson and great-great-great-great-grandson, the latter of whom ended up shooting it with a dart gun when he was a kid.
Yeah, I shot her in the face with a, and I shouldn't laugh, actually, it's terrible, with a dart gun as a 10-year-old boy.
That's why it's brought on to be restored by Lucia, who discovers that it's a copy of a similar painting of Carmichael that was done by famous painter George Romney.
I'm going to actually secure the paint around the edge of the dart gun hole, and the same thing along this tear as well.
But it's not a rip-off. It was commissioned by the family so that multiple portraits of their ancestor existed. It's difficult, but she's able to repair the lady's broken lip.
Sort of acts as a seal, but it's going to be the ground layer that I can paint on top of.
Number 5. Collectible Cat.
Oh, wow.
And it was made by my mum as a present for my dad around the time they got engaged.
This porcelain model was specially crafted in the 1950s as a gift from the current owner's mother to her father for their anniversary. But they eventually began making more of the cats together, kick-starting a collectible craze.
Even now, I'll get a letter from somebody with photographs of their collection of cats, you know, shells of cats.
Now there are people around the world who collect these strange porcelain cats from the mid-20th century, but they want the original restored.
So the next stage is to start filling. I'm going to be using an acrylic filler to make up these sort of areas of loss, just to build them up.
It's an extremely delicate job, with much of the ceramic in very poor condition, and it takes all of Kirsten's attention.
When you're painting lines, you just need to find the way that it feels for your arm to move quite naturally.
She needs to fill in the cracks and meticulously repaint it so that the family can continue to cherish it. Number 4. Yellow Submarine.
I've got something in my pocket for you.
Oh, that's tiny.
And it's a little yellow submarine.
The biggest band in the world for an entire decade, a huge volume of Beatles memorabilia was produced in the 1960s. You can actually still get these yellow submarine toys today, produced by Corgi, but this one's an original and extremely precious.
Going to pop on the propeller.
The woman who brings it on, Hannah Clive, is the daughter of the actor John Clive, who voiced John Lennon in the 1968 film because the Beatles themselves didn't want to be in it. Steve is able to replace some broken parts and even makes a new set of periscopes, while Lucia manages to match the fresh paint to the original.
I painted the first coats of yellow on the periscope, and it's very difficult to get this colour match because the original paint has faded on the top.
Number 3. Gift from the Maharaja. This walking stick was gifted to owner Nick's father by one of India's Maharajas many decades ago.
Originally, the mouth opened and the ears flapped.
Fantastic, isn't it? Where was this made?
I assume it was made in India.
The cane has the carved head of a monkey on top, with a complex mechanism inside to make the mouth and ears move. This makes repairing it a very tricky job, and it takes Will a while to find the hidden panel on the back.
There actually seems to be a really thin line running down the back, and that could possibly be an opening.
Steve likens it to performing surgery and needs to add a tiny piece of brass to the missing ear to get it working again.
Basically, the mechanism in here isn't that complex. It takes a bit of setting up. It's quite difficult. It's a bit like doing some brain surgery, basically, through a small hole.
Will fills in the cracks and recarves the monkey's hair detail, restoring the cane to its former glory.
The areas I've filled, I've actually lost the detail from the hair, so I'm just going to start carving that back in.
Number 2. Family secret. There's an incredible story behind this antique box, which owner Alan shares with Will. When Alan found the box, he opened it to discover his own adoption papers.
So your sister is actually your mother?
Yeah, and she never, ever let on.
So you only found out that information because of this?
Yeah.
My gosh.
He found that the woman he thought was his sister was actually his mother, who'd had him very young, and that he'd been formally adopted by his grandparents.
You can already see here, there's a humongous difference. I mean, look at that.
The box has seen better days, however, and Will needs to employ some strange methods to get it restored, including gently using an iron to soften and flatten the old glue.
One of the main benefits of doing it this way is sort of reusing the original glue that's there, rather than sort of forcing new glue in there and making a mess.
He replaces the metal plate and the leather, then gets it beautifully polished up. Number 1. Pocket watch. It survived the war and came all the way from the Netherlands, all because the owners believed Steve was the best person to repair it.
Fleeing from your house and being arrested, the only thing she could take with her was this watch. So she sewed it in her clothes, and it stayed there as long as she was in the prisoner of war camp.
The watch was kept hidden by the owner's mother during the 4 years she spent as a prisoner of war, but it's now broken. It's so delicate that Steve takes it to his own workshop away from the barn so it can be cleaned in a totally controlled environment.
Because these mechanisms are so fine that any dust that's falling out of this old thatched barn could affect it.
Many of the pieces need to be recreated, but clockwork genius Steve is able to get it working again.
That's good. Really pleased. Really, really pleased.
It's jobs like this that make it all worthwhile. Let us know in the comments if you've got something you want restored by the team.
I can't look.
I can't look either.
You can't look.